Okay, now let's discuss this. We need to know and we need to look at why and what makes emotion real. So when we look at emotion, when we're dealing with emotional preparation, we want to make sure that we can understand when we know it's real. And it's very difficult for actors because sometimes we're working with this thing called emotional preparation. And we're working with emotions and acting. And we don't know until we test it if the emotion is real. Because what we're doing is we're doing something that's personal. We're doing something that's emotionally self-stimulating. And that's the process of emotional preparation. Or this is how you can put emotion in your work. Back in the day, it used to be called inner life. So you get the inner life. You get the inner life for your preparation, or you do your actor preparation, and then later it became known as emotional preparation. So there's main things to understand here. There's activation. Now, what makes emotion real is activation. So you're looking at whether or not you can feel inside of yourself that there's something awoken or something that's waking up inside of yourself. Do you feel like there's something that's been jarred or affected? Or is there something that's, even if it's small, is it something that's starting to be felt? Hi, now listen, could you please just help me out? I need really, really good acting questions so I can help you out. So if you can write down in the comment section, each comment a separate question, write down an acting question. This would really help to be able to have people learn acting. Is it something that you can identify? So is there a feeling inside of you that you identify? And then hopefully we can get so that feeling gets deep enough that it becomes an emotion. So the first way is it activated? And the second way is it put on, is it not put on like a mask? Now, the emotion's not real if you're putting it on like a mask and taking it off like a mask. That's not real. That's something that's put on. And you might be, there's this misconception that an actor can go and get a deep emotion and a heartbeat and then they can put it away. And sometimes that's true, but it's not always true. Because, listen, I have seen so many actors doing this work of every kind of stature in acting. People that you've never heard of, and people that you see every single day in acting. And my biggest complaint is they don't do enough emotional preparation. And I know because I saw them working in classes, and I saw it, and they don't do the work that they were training to do. Which is that's common because it's difficult. This is a very, very difficult thing. So, if the emotion is being put on like a mask, then it's not real. It's not something that you put on. It's something that you're able to work with. So it's not something that you put on and then take off. Unless you've been doing this like 25 years and you've been really working on emotional preparation, and then you can go into the emotion that quickly and you can actually pull it up. And sometimes it happens faster, but that's the deal on that. Now, another thing is if it does not come from below the chin. So if the emotion that you're getting is not below the chin, if the sensation that you have when you're in your emotional preparation, if it doesn't actually hit you physically somewhere in some kind of way that's an emotional way that you can feel, you might feel a constrainment in your chest. Or let's say you're literally emotionally preparing on heartbreak. And there's just something like, I remember this amazing heartbreak I had where it wasn't a person, it was because I knew things were changing. And this heartbreak of something that was changing. And I could feel the restriction in my chest. That's because of the emotion. It's the emotion that does the restriction. Sometimes it can affect you that way. So do you feel that it's activated in you? If you could honestly ask yourself when you're in your emotional preparation, you can feel it. going on like that, or there's some restriction, or there's some kind of tenseness, or there's some sensation like that, that's a real feeling. That's a real pinch. That's something that's a real emotional element. These are good things for your acting. It can be tough to live through, but they're good for your acting. Now, the biggest test of emotion is, can you interact with it? That's right. You've got to be able to interact with the emotion. The emotion's not something that you have, that you keep up, that you have to struggle to continue to have during the scene. The emotion is something that you should be able to relax and still keep. So you have your emotion, you work with your emotion, you're activated by your emotion. It's affecting you below the chin. And there's sometimes an outpour that happens with your emotion. Like right now, I've just talked a little bit about the heartache. The heartache after I was injured, actually, where I was assaulted by a student, unfortunately, an industry student. So they thought that they were all that, and they were not. And I was very, very kind. And the problem is they decided to assault me anyway. And when they did, I got into such a bad injury. I thought I was never going to be able to even have a discussion or to even do acting ever again because I was so injured. And the heartbreak was terrible. So even just bringing up that emotion or that circumstance for me starts to bring up that emotion. It's deep enough that it feels a little bit of a tingling, like a little I want to vomit. A little bit, and I've just started to work on it or work with it, and it's like this heartbreak. So that's going to continue during this video. There's nothing I can do about it because it's an emotion. So the test of truthful acting and what makes emotion real is whether or not you can interact with it. Now, there is a major key. If it's an emotion, you're not going to be able to immediately shake it off. It's not a mask to put on. This is something that will actually affect you. This might affect you for days. You might go into this. I have no idea how long it's going to take for me to I don't know how. I'm working right now to be able to explain the acting principle. I'm not actually going into the emotional preparation of the heartache that I just spoke of. But if I went in deeper to that heartache, then I would actually, I don't know where it would end up. It would end up being in a situation where I would not be able to shake it immediately. Hi, now listen, could you please just help me out? I need really, really good acting questions so I can help you out. Now, if you're going to work in acting, this is the way to make it authentic, to make it real. So you've gone into the emotion. There's no way that you can get rid of it because it's now in you and it's activated in you. So this way, when you activate an emotion like this, you actually have something that's going on in you as there's a circumstance happening, which is the key. So, acting is obviously, just like Sanford Meisner's always said back in the day, and even still, everyone knows it. Acting is believing or being truthful under imaginary circumstances. So, what you've got to do or work towards doing is being able to understand that when you have real emotion, you're not going to be able to shake it off. Now, this leads to a very important topic. And by the way, if you would just boop the like button, that would be wonderful. I've seen a lot of work in acting, and ask me some questions. It would be helpful to you. Look, you take a feeling. Most of the people teach, and some of the people teach. It just depends. I've studied with well over 20 teachers. I remember watching teachers learn acting before they were even teachers. Just like I could say the same thing for many, 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 many people in the industry that you see every day on TV. It's true, or whatever they're doing, movies or whatever the case is. So look, the thing about this is it's not about trying to get a feeling and catch the feeling quickly and then put the feeling in your work for the first moment. It's not what this is. Now look, a lot of people teach emotional preparation is only for the first moment. I absolutely respect their opinion. I think that's fantastic that they're experimenting with emotion in acting. But the reality is, if you do emotional preparation, it's called emotional preparation. It's not called feelings preparation. We're not trying to put on a feeling. We're not trying to put on anything except for something that's authentic and real. So we're looking at emotion. We're looking at being able to activate that emotion so that there's an outpour happening inside of ourselves that we have going on that's the undercurrent to the acting circumstance. So we have an emotion that's working. Something's activated in ourselves. Then we put our attention off of our emotional preparation. We put our attention on our acting work, on our acting partner, on the circumstance. And meanwhile, what we have is we have all these really credible things happening in our emotion. And what might happen, it might happen, it may not happen, but it might, that your partner will start to realize that there's something internal going on inside of you because you've activated it. And then that will end up working within the emotional circumstances. Or what people refer to as imaginary circumstances. Right? Sanford, Meisner acting, all that. Right. So, let's really work. First of all, ask me really good acting questions. Let's really work at this. Make some comments in the comment section, and let me know how it's going with this, because this stuff I love to study. I love to study acting. I've studied well over 20. I'm saying it's probably 40,000. I'm just going to say 20,000. I don't care what the number is. It's a lot of acting, and this is not even all of my notebooks. This is not even all of them. So it doesn't matter. What matters is whether or not people can learn how to be able to put emotion and activate their emotion for their acting. So the world can be better. The emotions can be better. There can be real emotions and people can actually be learning craft in acting. Cheers.